Section 3.4, Nonstandard Forms. We're going to be solving linear equations in this section, but they're going to look a little bit different. Big difference from what we were looking at previously is we have 2 appearances of x. We want a single appearance of x, so we need to get rid of 1. Oh, I'm sorry, let's clean that up. Need to get rid of one of these guys. How are we going to do that? Well, I don't care what x is. If I have 2x and I take away 2x, I get 0. So over here, if I subtract 2x, I'll be left with 0 x's, and the right hand side of the equation will just be 5. But we don't just do this in a vacuum. So this entire side going on here, and there's the entire left hand side. We've got to subtract 2x from this side as well. Remember, the golden rule. So now the left hand side is 4x minus 2x minus 3. That simplifies down to 2x minus 3, and we can solve by adding 3. 2x is equal to 8, and dividing by 2. X is equal to 4. And we've got our solution. Now, the first part of this was just getting a single x. These first bits right here was just to get to 1x. And then this was stuff we already know how to solve. This was just inverse reverse. Let's take a look at another problem. But first, some setup for it. If I have the quantity 2 times 3 minus x, I can use the distributive property and write this as 6 minus 2x. Likewise, if I have 4 times the quantity 2x plus 5, I can write that as 8x plus 20. So, using this, we can take a look at this problem. 2 times the quantity 3 minus x is equal to 4 times the quantity 2x plus 5. We've already done the distribution, so we can just go ahead and replace each of these expressions with their equivalent. Again, this simplification here got us that, and this one here, this distribution, got us that. So now this form is similar to what we started out this problem with. We just want 1x. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll say 2x. We'll add 2 to u. And remember, we have to do this to both sides. We'll fill in the rest of the problem around that. And we'll have 6 is equal to 10x plus 20. Now, we can solve. We'll subtract 20 from both sides of the equation here. We'll have minus 14 is equal to 10x. Then we'll divide both sides by 10. Minus 14 divided by 10 is equal to x. We've got our solution. If we wanted, we could simplify this to minus 7 divided by 5 is equal to x. So let's take a look back at what we did. Right here, this was distribution. Distributed. Then we got to a single x, and then from this point we just solved with inverse reverse. So when we have these non-standard problems, our first step is to distribute. Then we get to a single term with x in it. And finally, we solve with inverse reverse. Let's take a look at another problem. This is going to be a little bit of a longer problem, but that's okay. We want to test what we've learned. So we have quite a bit going on here. We're going to have to distribute. Then we're going to have to combine terms here and here. Then we're going to have to get a single x. Then we're going to solve. So first, let's do this distribution. We're going to take 5, multiply it by 3. That gives us 15x. Multiply it by a -1 minus 5. And we'll fill in the rest of this side. Plus 2 is equal to, let's see here, 6 times 2 is 12, times the negative x is negative 6x, and fill in the rest of the problem, plus 4x. Okay, now we're going to want to combine like terms. On this side, it's minus 5 plus 2. That is minus 3. And we'll fill in the rest of that side around that. On the right hand side, we've got minus 6x plus 4. To combine those, we're going to take negative 6, add 4 to it, be left with a negative 2, and we don't want to forget the x. Okay, here we are. 15x minus 3 is equal to 12 minus 2x. Let's get rid of this instance of x. And we're going to do that by, just like we've been doing this entire time, adding 2 to it. And we're going to have to do that to the other side of the equation as well. So we'll fill in everything else around this. And then we'll simplify. 15 plus 2, that's 17x. And it's going to be equal to, well, those cancel out, so just 12. Now, let's add 3 to each side. 17x is equal to 15. And then divide both sides by 17, the coefficient on x. And that's our solution. And that wraps up this section. Thank you.